Welcome to this week's episode of Thoroughly Entertained. This week, Krista and I are going to be talking about the new Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson comedy, The Internship, and we're also going to give you our thoughts on the new season of Arrested Development on Netflix. In the new comedy, The Internship, Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn are top salesmen who find themselves out of work when their company goes belly up. They decide in order to live the life of their dreams and have the job they've always wanted to join the internship program at Google.
Scott, so what did you think about The Internship?
I thought The Internship was easily the funniest movie we've seen so far this year.
Absolutely.
Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson have a brilliant comedic chemistry together. Anybody who saw Wedding Crashers knows how good the two of these people are on screen. And it's kind of a shame they haven't made a movie together in 6 years, you know?
Yeah, their chemistry is so smooth and easy, and you can just tell that these guys are buddies. Yeah. And you want to hang out with them. Like,
absolutely, yeah.
It'd be so much fun just to sit there and listen to them talk and riff off of each other. But yeah, their dynamic is undeniable. And this only goes to showcase, however, the weakness of the secondary cast, because no one can sort of hold a candle to what the two of them do.
And the whole movie hinges on their relationship, so it's fine that nobody else was brilliant, but, you know, in order to take a movie from being a very, very good comedy to being a great comedy, you know, you need to get a few counterpunches from the supporting cast, and I really don't think anybody else added very much. There was, you know, the guy with the thick Indian accent who runs the internship program, played by a guy from The Daily Show who doesn't have an Indian accent, but for some reason they felt he needed to have one, and... You know, and a lot of the secondary characters are cipher. There's the career first executive who has no time for her personal life, and you know, and so if those people were a little bit more three-dimensional, they would have added a little bit more to the humor. But you know, it's a Vince Vaughn Owen Wilson showcase, and as far as that goes,
you go watch them,
and you get what you want. You get a ton of laughs. I mean, there was times when I was worried I was missing jokes because I was laughing so hard, and I was like, "Oh, am I missing another joke?" Because they come so quick that you almost like are hoping everyone in the theater stays quiet so you hear all the punchlines.
One of probably my favorite sequences was the sort of intramural game of Quidditch that they play. And of course Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn are cast as the fish out of water. They don't know what's going on. They're befuddled, and then all of a sudden you throw this Harry Potter Quidditch game, and of course they don't know anything about Harry Potter or Quidditch or these terms, quaffles and snitches and
bludgers,
and they're like, what the, you know, like, can we not just beat each other with these brooms? And I didn't even know this was a thing. Like, who plays Quidditch? And it was funny. It was a funny sequence.
And actually, the sequence where they're having the rules explained to them by their team leader, that's actually one of the funnier scenes that's one of the funnier sets of dialogue that isn't Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. And when he's like, okay, so everyone knows we got the two beaters on the outside, and they're like, what the hell are you talking about?
Let's just go out there and play.
And like, that's sports? Okay, well, let's just start playing then.
Exactly.
And then a lot of the fish out of water stuff really works because, you know, even me, like, I know plenty about computers. I'm not a genius or anything like that, but even I was intimidated by some of the computer stuff that they were showing in the movie, so it's easy to understand how intimidated these two guys would be in a similar setting. But I like the fact that they showed them, you know, working really hard to learn about the computer stuff instead of just going, hey man, we're really charming, so all we're going to do is be charming and everyone will love us. They actually show them putting in a little bit of work towards becoming proficient at the computer aspect of it as well.
As a whole, Scott and I both gave it a strong B+.
Strong B+.
It'll be a funny movie. You'll enjoy yourself at the theater, but it's not something that, you know.
Yeah, it's not the greatest comedy of all time, but yeah, it has plenty of laughs for anybody that goes to see it.
Absolutely. So now let's talk about Season 4 of Arrested Development. And before we get very far, we want to ask our question. Who is your favorite character from Arrested Development? Scott, who's yours?
My favorite is George Michael, played by Michael Cera. I think, especially in the first 2 seasons, nothing is funnier on the show than his reaction shots to camera. It's just hysterical, and the open mouth gulp of nervousness. Like, I think it just crushes the whole first 3 seasons. I think his scenes are always the funniest.
My favorite has to be Buster, and he's played by Tony Hale, and he's just awkward and such a mama's boy and been coddled his entire life that he has zero backbone and spine and calls himself the intellectual, but he's not very intelligent at all. And I just get a big kick out of every scene he's in. So
yeah,
especially the hook.
It's a show full of great characters, but those are our two favorites. So tell us who your favorite is in the comment section.
All right, so Netflix picked up Arrested Development as a 4th season. It ended 5 or 6 years ago at the end of a shortened 3rd season.
Right.
And the goal was this had been sort of a cult favorite, and they wanted to resuscitate this particular series, and I do not feel it was successful.
Yeah, I think the genius of the show was how all the characters played off of each other and the rhythm of the writing and how clever everything was. And I think just taking that huge hiatus just killed a little bit of the show's rhythm. I don't think they were able to step right back into the flow that the show originally had. And the fact that they had to establish what each individual character has been up to for the last 5 years, has split the cast apart, which the strength of the show is when the cast is together.
Right, it's an ensemble piece, and when the ensemble is broken up, then that's where the magic's been lost for me. I mean, there's been a couple of great episodes.
Yeah.
The episode with Job and his sort of entourage was a particularly strong one, and was funny, but it still just did not have the same sorts of chemistry and magic that every single other episode in the first 3 seasons has, because it has the bulk of the cast in the episode. And that's where all of those little quips and non sequiturs and things that happen just don't really happen the same way. When they have all of these amazing guest characters and guest actors that have come onto the show, that's not what I want to see. I want to see the Bluth family and all of their, horridness with each other, and that's what makes it so strong.
And I think the fact that the show, has built up all this cachet over the last few years on DVD and on the internet and those types of things, that they finally realized, oh wow, we can reach out to all these famous people and they'll want to do stuff on the show. So we can reach out to the guy who plays Roger Sterling on Mad Men, and Seth Rogen and Kristen Wiig, and Ben Stiller will come back and do some more, and Andy Richter will do some more, and Isla Fisher will play this character, and Ron Howard will be on the show. Those things are great, but again, that was never the strength of the show. The strength of the show was the original cast playing off each other, not look who that person is. Oh, look at this famous person's in this scene. Oh wow, they have this guy playing a new character. Tommy Toon's in it. Hooray, Tommy Toon! For me, I think there's been a lot of funny things about the show, but my biggest criticism, aside from the fact that they could have put the cast together a little bit more, is I don't like the direction that they've taken the character of Michael. Michael's supposed to be the stand-up guy, the honorable one, the smart one, who tries to make good decisions but kind of gets dragged down by the chaos of his family, whereas in this one, he's kind of just a whiny, pathetic, scummy loser now, which is not a fun thing to see. It's not fun to see him like that, I don't think.
Job is supposed to be the scummy loser in the family.
Job's the scummy loser.
You don't need 2 in the same family, and I agree. I think that is sort of, once again, just made it a little worse for me. And as a whole, Scott, you give it a C+, I would only give it a C. I just have not enjoyed it that much, and have not and in fact, I normally binge watch things like this, and I would watch an episode and I was like, I guess I better watch another one. I haven't been excited to watch anymore because I haven't really enjoyed it, so.
Well, and you and I both decided to watch the entire first 3 seasons to lead up into it so that we'd remember where all the characters sat at the end of the last season. And I bet a lot of people did that. And I think that that's not necessarily a good thing, because comparing season 4 with the first 3 seasons, which may be the best 3 seasons of any TV comedy ever. I mean, maybe Seinfeld had a better career as a show, or Friends had a better career as a show because they lasted so much longer. But as far as a concentrated 3-season sample, I don't know that there's a better 3 seasons of TV than Arrested Development. And to compare this 4th season with that, it really suffers in the comparison, especially if you go fresh from the original episodes to the new episodes. That's why I gave it a C+.
Yeah, so if you haven't binge watched the first 3 seasons and are just wanting to watch the 4th season, just watch it. Don't bother, go back, and you might enjoy it a little more, because
judge it on its own merit. Judge it on its own merits, and try not to engage in the comparison shopping, which has been, kind of unfavorable towards the show. Because again, there are some funny things. Just overall, the show hasn't been as strong.
That's it for this week's episode of Thoroughly Entertained. Make sure to go to our website at thoroughllyentertained.com and sign up for our summer movie guide so that you know what's happening at the movies this summer. Next week, we're going to be watching Man of Steel and discussing the current season of So You Think You Can Dance. As always, join us on our quest to be thoroughly entertained.